Welcome to another episode of Roses in Conversation. Now, today we're doing something different, sitting around the table and just discussing general issues sent through by you, the viewers. I have my good friend BK and Busi on my side. I'm the only one whose name starts with R, so I will sit in the middle. Welcome, ladies. I know this is not your first time sitting here. We went through COVID, and some people lost their jobs, some people lost family members, friends, colleagues, and so on. Where do you think we are in terms of anxiety and depression right now?
I think we are still struggling. We are still feeling whatever, going through that experience wasn't easy for everyone. We woke up one day, we were fine, and then the next day the world literally just went on a standstill, and we had to adjust. And it's in human nature, when things like that happens, we tend to react negatively. And I think with that, we are still trying to find ourselves back to how the world is used to be. Is it going to be the same? I honestly don't think it will. And with our mental health being affected because of we had to lose people, like you said, we had to lose jobs. So we're still trying to find ourselves after all that.
I'm going to add on to that question and say that we've lost people, and I think some of us lost ourselves. But are we doing something about it?
Well, I think post-COVID has actually changed the world drastically, as we all know. We did lose the things that you've mentioned and people in our lives. And when we look at the unemployment rate right now, it is the highest that it's ever been, and this is post-COVID. There are things that came out of the COVID pandemic. For example, I know that our creativity has shot out.
Definitely.
Innovation has actually played such a significant role in people retaining their jobs. And even though we are at a point where a lot of us are depressed, depression is actually a serial killer right now, for lack of a better word or better words. So we have learned quite a lot. Things have changed post-COVID. Like Busi has alluded, that we woke up one day and the world was a completely different place. People are more depressed now than they were pre-COVID. So
I totally agree, and I think it's getting to a point where even though we're trying to get help, we are adding on to it, especially with working from home. We have found that it's quite a good advantage because you don't have to travel, you avoid traffic. But we are adding on to lack of exercise, we're adding on to lack of socializing, and that actually has an impact into our social life because you do need to socialize. I think I saw it with my kids. The first duration of the lockdown had an emotional impact on them, not socializing with other kids. They can have as much internet connection they can get access to and watch cartoons and so on, but not socializing with kids their age, not having a routine of being in the outside life impacts you. But do you think it's something we can actually work out right now? Because technology is making us lazy, as we want to call it.
Lazy, and what you PK also said is in regards to creativity. We had to find ways of entertaining ourselves and also entertaining the kids, because we are forced to be cooped up in one and same space with them, and we had to find ways where for one, I started to learn how to cook, which it really helped in me, my sanity, just trying to think of something that I can do. Are we doing something about it? I think we are. Since COVID, I believe that we now got into a space where we can openly speak about mental health. I don't know if it's just around us, our circle, or is it really happening out there, but I hear a lot of conversations that are happening around mental health. And the one thing that I'm happy also to hear about is men are now speaking about mental health, because they had this thing, it's a woman thing, kind of, things that men don't show their weakness. But they had to spend time with their families. and then there was no way of running away from their emotions, no way going to speak with Amajita or, what they used to. Now they actually got to open up. So I am happy with that part, that we are now talking about mental health.
Absolutely. I love that. Absolutely. I think it's important. Human beings are meant to socialize. To socialize, isolated. So it's important that we go out there, we socialize, and we socialize with the right kind of people that support what you mentioned now, mental health, and on the positive side of it. I think, are we doing something about it? Absolutely. Like I said, innovation has shot up the roof. People are finding very creative ways to be on holiday while they are at home. People have made their homes a sanctuary where they actually don't escape to work, but they are in the comfort of their homes. So yes, COVID has taught us a lot. We are doing something about it. People are more active now, and like you said, we speak about these things more openly. And of course, like you mentioned, that men can't run away to the boys' club anymore. Well, I think COVID also just showed us whether you are meant to be together with the person or not. So it made and it broke things.
Wow. Can we stand each other for that?
Definitely.
Really,
I don't. Relationships.
I don't run away to work every chance I get. I mean, it's crazy, but I think, in retrospect, COVID also had such a positive light because we consumed so much of the world. I think for me personally, the silence, and it was such a great decompression. I must say. So, and obviously we heard on the news and everywhere else that trees were starting to grow, oceans were cleaner now. So I think I look at it as the world was just cleansing itself, even though it was in the light of COVID-19.
Yeah, because in essence, in order for you to detox, there has to be some turmoil, some disastrous thing that has to happen in order for that to happen. So speaking of relationships, let's get to that point. Let's make it edgy a little bit. A lot of relationships got stronger. Some ended because of COVID. And I think coming out of COVID now, the dating life is different. I want to hear your views on the dating scene right now. Our age group. What is it? Why do we start with laughter? Is it that serious?
Because we're talking about Mujolo, and it's not an easy conversation to talk. But I think the upside of it when it comes to relationship is now we also have found ways of being able to communicate with each other. Because we had to rely on video calls and all this, so we found so many ways of communicating, and that it's something that I think that we took away after COVID. We came and then we still holding on to it. Did it make it successful? I honestly don't know. I'm not. It didn't change it didn't change my relationship status anyway. I didn't suffer. I didn't gain. So I don't think I would know when it comes to that.
We should actually open this to the public and hear what people have to say.
If they actually gain or they lost.
Yes. Did you gain or lose? Did you make your relationship stronger? Did you realize I can't take somebody leaving their toothbrushes or their shoes on the floor? But that is quite interesting. But did you think that it tainted a few friendships?
Well, like all distance does that, whether it's emotionally or physically. Distance does put a little bit of an edge on whatever relationship there is. And I think that going back to the first question that you asked, my take on that is COVID made us a little bit more sympathetic, if I may say. From what I'm seeing from my side is that people are more graceful towards each other. Because, during the COVID pandemic, there was no other time that we lost so many people in such a small, short period of time. Yeah. So I think coming out of that and having experienced that, we know how vulnerable life is. And I think it made us a little bit softer and graceful towards other people as well, because we had people that could not bury their family members, So, in terms of Mjolo, well,
when there has to be a pause, there's a conversation.
I don't know. Do we relationship better post-COVID? I am not sure, because pre-COVID I was single, post-COVID I was still single, so just like nothing really shifted in the spectrum of love. However, I think it is because maybe it's because of the people that I interact with, but we take each other more seriously now, and relationships bloom more. It just blossoms more beautifully now, and I think people are just graceful towards each other for just.
And also, it started the conversation of understanding that we are all, going through stuff. And I think what COVID did, it actually allowed us to go through something together. It made us to be relatable to each other.
It doesn't matter where you're from.
Yes, you are in a different. I know COVID. We just attended a family meeting. Ramaphosa said, all this, everything is being. So it doesn't mean that because you are in Limpopo, you say, it's only happening to people that are in Gauteng. So everyone was going through it, and that made us to be, lenient also in being understanding with each other, to say, what, when I say, I'm feeling so overwhelmed, I can't. The next person is also feeling it. So it made it easy for us to understand each other in terms of saying, okay, I get what you're saying. I feel it too. So I think that is, and with friendships, it makes, friendships very strong. Absolutely. I think I can also speak for us because of during that time, we just wanted to talk to each other so much.
All the time.
Yes, are you okay? I just heard that it's now in your area. Are you guys safe? Are the kids, taking it? Are they adjusting to all the changes? We shared a lot of ideas on how to entertain the kids. We shared recipes.
Yes.
Try this, cook this. The kids loved it because those are now ways that we could say, I am going through what you're going through. How can I help you feel better?
And it's up to us to keep that communication open, because I think we take silence as a rejection of a friendship, and we know that we're going through things, and we understand the silence is just, I know she's going through something, and we will communicate when the time is right. So taking it back to that aspect, let's leave it outside of COVID, just in general. There is a saying that you need to heal before you start dating. What are your sentiments on such?
Well, I think healing is an ongoing thing. So I don't think healing is a destination. Definitely. So it will be pretty myopic, if I may say, of a person to think that you need to get to a certain destination and then you need to now start dating.
Yes.
It really, for me, it really doesn't make sense. I think what I do, in my view, I go into things because sometimes you need to go into something for you to heal, to find that healing path. So I don't think healing is particularly let me get there first,
then I'll
and see what happens. Because if I've spent 2 years even with Busi, and now this friendship or relationship of ours discontinues, it's going to be an everyday reminder that this person was in your life.
And if you stay alone, then again, it's a matter of how are you going to be able to measure how far you've come.
Exactly.
Because here you are, some of the conversations that you have on your own is you can be, you want to talk to be favorable to yourself.
Yes.
So it helps when you are with someone. If you are working on communication and that person can say to you, listen, I don't think you're getting it. But if you are alone and you are saying, I am healing, what are you healing from? How do you know when you are there, when you are... So I think it helps to find hambing indlela,
go with it.
Go with it.
Figure it out as you go. I think that question comes from, when you get into a new relationship or start a new relationship, there's this conversation. If anything goes wrong, the conversation is, but you have not healed yet, or you have not healed. So, and I take it from my experience, because I know that once I want to start engaging in something and then there's a red flag, if I can highlight it, the first response from friends or from someone closer to me is going to say, it's because you haven't healed. But I think when you say it's not a destination, then what do we do? Do you get to what Busi is saying? Let me heal, and then as I go, when I get in a relationship, I'll get to understand whether I've healed from being left, I've healed from being ghosted, I've healed from insecurities, or do you tell yourself that there are certain points on the road that you need to get to, and then you will allow yourself to open up for someone else?
Well, I think first of all, people who tell you that you haven't healed from a previous relationship are just gaslighting you. Because
they just
how the hell you don't yes, like your friends, firstly. And I think in terms of what you're just asking now about how do you then gauge, how do you gauge whether you are well on your way there? I think it's got to do with the people around you and the kind of relationships that you have, like you guys have just alluded, that spend time with people who can also give feedback.
Yes.
In friendships, we don't give feedback. We
Be
need
open
to be
with
quite
them.
frank about that. In a lot of friendships, there isn't that interaction to give feedback, to say, I've noticed that you haven't spoken about this person in 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on? I'm actually, you are on your way. You are on the path that you wanted to take.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is powerful, and I think it's quite remarkable because there's a verse in Mark that talks about being careful about the people you hang around. Like your circle matters.
It does.
A lot because it influences the decisions you make.
Absolutely.
It influences the choices that you're going to make and how you think as well.
Yes.
Because you are what you think, and if all these thoughts of people around you are directing you to left, you will definitely go left. There's Ecclesiastic 3 verse 1 that says there's a time to live and a time to die. I want to know what is your experience with loss. I take it as a thief.
It steals happiness, memories, are all that you are left with. And I think I'm speaking from a point where I had to lose a very good friend. And her passing, when you receive that call and they just say this person is no more, and you have plans for the next day, and you just immediately go to that state of, what now?
Can't be true. Yeah.
What now? What must I do with all those things that we planned?
Yeah.
So it stills that, because when you're looking forward to something and you're excited about it is also what matters is the person that you are going to do that thing with. And when that person is no longer there, then it means that you can do all those things.
Yeah.
So death, I don't think there is any way of ever. Whenever we as Christian mostly, we say let your will be done, but
the pain is still
the pain
there.
is like, God, your will is hurting me, and it is hurting. And then the challenge that comes with that is also, as a believer, is now I know this is God's doing, but I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
Then you start questioning your relationship with God and saying, God, but why?
Yeah.
Is it that I have to go through this? Why did you have to take that one person that, I believed that you have, aligned them to my path, and you said this is the person that you're going to have, and the next thing you snatch them out. So I don't think there's any, me personally, no, there's no way of having any.
Describing
loss is just, it's horrible. It's horrible.
It's a thief, definitely.
Definitely.
Loss is definitely. And I think there are, even though the topic is around death a little bit, we also lose people to life. Just like you've lost a friend, I lost a friend to life. And, the fact that this person is still out there, sometimes you think there is a chance and you want to reconcile, but then you rethink
and we don't talk much about that.
So I've experienced a loss to life, and I think I take a little bit of solace in the fact that if it was the other way around and this person was not alive, I was going to take comfort in the fact that they are gone from Earth. I know they exist in the same galaxy as me. So having to live with that, and just like memories you mentioned earlier on, you think about the person almost every day, and
definitely.
And things remind you of them when you achieve a certain milestone in life. You know that we spoke about this 15 years ago.
I would be telling
you want to rush to the phone, and then you realize, but we're not even there anymore. That's so losing to life is quite painful.
That is the sad reality, and it makes you realize that grief comes in different forms.
Yes.
Grief comes in divorce, grief comes in losing a friendship, grief comes in not landing the job that you wanted, or losing the capital you invested in a business. So with that being said, I think let's speak more on where we are and how we want to motivate others going forward. We are in different industries, the three of us and the circle of our friends. We do different things, and yes, we have businesses, we have 9-to-5s, we have ambitions, and we have callings. But what would you say to somebody who's looking at you right now and says, I want to be you, you inspire me?
I think with, where we are is, for me personally, I'm going through a big change. A big change where I am literally just picking up my life and going to
another province.
And I'm leaving all these, all you guys that are, the people that I have, grown with so much, people that know you. I feel like I'm going into a stage where you start dating and you're going through the talking stage. What's your favorite color?
But
you're getting to know each other. I feel like I'm going. It's scary. It gets very scary. But one advice that my mother told when I decided, I was like, "There's a chance of this happening."
Yes, and I'm taking it.
And I think I'm not sure. Should I? And one thing that my mother said, she said, "Do you?" You always joke about this and say, "Do you, girl?" And then she said, "Do you? You only have this life and only this life to live. So take it. If this comes with you being in another province, do that, and you are going to make new friends wherever you're going." So we are so scared of losing things and losing people that we end up holding on to things that
and remain constant,
and there's no growth.
Yes,
there's no growth. But if you move and you change and you move to it's like when you can see that your plant is not growing, move it to a bit of sun, and maybe that's what it needs, and that's what you need to do as well. So if you are unsure of things, you can never be 100% sure.
Absolutely.
Of nothing. Whether you are waking up, you're not sure whether this day is going to go on as planned, but then it's just having hope and faith that, it is going to be okay. So sometimes we are just so scared of things that we don't know, only to find that the don't know is actually waiting to introduce itself to you.
If it's scary, then definitely go for it. That's what you say all the time. If it scares you, then that's the door that you need to open.
That's growth.
I love that.
So from my side, somebody looking up to me, I would just direct him to the library, because that's where I think without books, I don't even know where I would be. I'm currently reading the 4 Agreements right now, and I'm unpacking it, and I've actually made it as though it's a study. It's only 138 pages, but I am reading it with intent, and I'm taking notes from it. And what I find so significant is that we have made the agreements with ourselves, but what kind of agreements are you making with yourself and the people around you, And Dawn on the 4 Agreements speaks about, don't take things personally, be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. I think if somebody had to say that they want me to inspire them in that way, I would take them to the 4 Agreements or The Alchemist. There's nothing I as a human being can actually give them that those 2 books cannot give them, or have an impact in their lives. So for me, the 4 Agreements is really opening my eyes to so many other things, because you also notice the smallest things that you do. Not doing your best. Am I doing my best right now with my life? Am I taking things personal?
Oh wow, that is powerful.
So that's, I think, I heard about it on a podcast about a few years ago, actually during COVID. And Mbulelo spoke about it, and I said, I think this is the book that I want to read every year.
Oh wow, that is powerful. I think in general, whether you want to admit it or not, whether that is your intention or not, there is somebody that you inspire.
Yes.
And they look up to you, not necessarily to be you, but they take the challenges that you've been through and want to overcome them just like you. Roses in Conversation is a platform that allows us to say that not only look at the challenges or focus on the challenges you're going through, but what we're saying is that there is a greener side, there is a light on the path you are walking, and there are lessons to be learned, because in that you are being built for a greater purpose, and your strength is going to build endurance. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. We are going to do this almost every week, and then you can post your questions that we'll ask in the next table conversation. Join us again.